Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap up. Now we are live in Getting Started in Crypto, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and that's about it. And yeah, welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And there's been a huge amount of requests, and I'm going to try and get through them. I'm still got the flu or whatever it was I caught in Brazil. So nobody's allowed to say that I look tired because I'm dying. But I've got more antibiotics and I'm on the mend, hopefully this time, different antibiotics. So let's jump into this because Bitcoin is at a really, really pivotal region. And I want to bring that to you guys. And so you don't all get too excited and then get wrecked and then they'll go, oh my God, but I thought it was bullish forever. It may not be. So let's jump straight into that chart and have a look. So this is Bitcoin. And put some glasses on so I can see. And hey to, I'm going to butcher that name, Pewee29 on YouTube. So welcome. If you're on X or on YouTube or in Getting Started in Crypto, make sure you drop in and say hello. I can see all the comments. So and before we start, I do have to say that we are brought to you tonight by OKX. They are sponsoring us for the next couple of months, which is awesome. Now we're going to be telling you a whole heap more about their new features, and it's called exchange mode, and it's really, really epic. They've got less slippage, less lag, and it's really fast. So if you're into futures and you're into leverage trading, check out OKX because it's actually a really, really cool platform, really cool upgrade. So make sure you check that out. Okay, now let's jump into BTC. Now there's two patterns here, and we've not. So I've had a question both on X and within Getting Started in Crypto because I talk about pivots. Now pivots are an Elliott wave directional pattern. So they basically tell you if the pattern's going up or down. So right now we've got an overhead pivot at 123,398. So if Bitcoin can cross that, we're going into this 5-wave pattern. So we want to cross that. We want to hit about 125-ish, and that will break that pivot. Now, if we don't break that pivot, we're looking at what is known as potentially a WXY pattern. So that's a triple pattern where we've got several different patterns in there. And now it could go as low as 112, or it could go all the way if something drastically goes wrong. I doubt it. I'd say we're probably holding up higher, but that's the potential at this range here. If there's no break on this pivot, which is 123, that's the direction. We're either going up at that point or we're going down again. So for BTC, we are right there. And for this to be, even if we do get sort of a major pullback, even a bigger pullback, now this is our wave 1 high. So within Elliott wave, when we've got a 4-wave pattern, the wave 1 high and the wave 4 low cannot cross unless they're a really specific leading diagonal or ending diagonal, which we're not in at the moment. So the pivot on this region, if we're going to pull back for that wave 1 high, is 116,000. So any pullback here must hold 116,000 for this to remain bullish, or it's that WXY pattern. So sorry to burst your bubble, guys, but there's always an alternative that you need to know about so that you're not over leveraging, over risking, and just getting super bullish. The reason that it's going to pull back soon, so this is a 4-hour, we're getting very, very overbought on the RSI. So when we take this up to the daily, We're not quite there on the daily. We've just flipped over on the MACD, so that does mean we've got a little bit more room to move. And we're looking quite bullish when we're looking. We need one more green candle, and then we've got 3 green crows, or 3 white crows, depending on what you want to call them. And that's a really bullish pattern. So if we can get another daily green candle like this, that would be epic. We've got room on the daily to move, and BTC can stay overbought for a little while. So tomorrow we want to print another green candle. We want to break this pivot here at 123 400-ish, and then we're heading higher. Again, any pullback needs to hold that 116 mark. But this is like a really, really nice pattern. If we're looking at this in traditional patterns, we are going to be looking at an inverse head and shoulders. So we've got shoulder, body, tiny little shoulder, and then we head up. So if we're looking at this pattern as a general sort of pattern, we put our measuring stick down there. That's pretty much it. This is the basic sort of stuff. Like if you don't know Elliott wave, learn patterns, because these patterns sort of, however deep it is however high it's going. So we're looking at 147. So with that, potentially it's going to get super, super bullish at that point. So it probably pushed through to 150. So that's what we're looking at in this pattern at the moment for the inverse head and shoulders. So we're seeing that across the board on a lot of the alts as well. So it's a really good sign that we're heading up. We've retested the shoulder, or the breakout region on BTC. So that's another really strong sign. Can be retested a couple of times though. So that's why that WXY pattern is still a very, very valid pattern. So just do keep an eye on that. Now, when we're looking at the BLX, so we have held so far this yellow pattern. If we do start to break through that 124, 125 range, that's when we're going up to this green straightaway pattern. But at the moment, we're sitting sideways in that pattern, where this is kind of the potential that we could sort of sit within this channel for a little bit longer. With that being said, but that allows ETH to do its thing. That allows the alts to do their thing. There's still a lot of room to move. Potentially with BTC dominance, we do have a pullback across the board on alts, so just be ultra careful in those. We had a bounce on the support, and now the pivot, the directional pivot here on BTC dominance is, and I'll explain that again. So we'll have 5 waves down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our directional pivot is going to be sitting at this wave 1 low. So when we don't want dominance to be crossing 61.34, because that means that BTC's become extremely bullish and the alts are going to bleed at that point. So that's your sort of sign at that point to get out of alts, because they're going to start bleeding once it gets above that 61.34. Right now, it's in a sort of a safe zone where, you know, it's a little bit, and alts go up, down, up, down, up, down. BTC is doing the same. We're seeing a bit more of a push for BTC at the moment, as we're seeing on the dominance. So just be aware that is going to, money doesn't just magically come from nowhere. Unless there's tether prints, it's getting drawn out of alts, it's getting drawn out of ETH, it's getting drawn out of other places. So just be super aware of that when you're trading. USDT has broken down. Now, we do have 5 waves here, so that's actually quite a bullish pattern, but can be that WXY. WXY has a 5-wave pattern in it. It's different to an ABC when you're looking at that. So that would break down, and we would like to get to that 1.236 down here, which is about 3% dominance for USDT. So if we got 3% dominance, that means we've got lots of money into the market, into crypto, and the market's going up. So that's ideally what we want to look at. We want that to continue to break down. The total has broken the directional pivot, which means the next stop up is 4.17. We have similar size candles, so we haven't slowed down yet. When we start to get those smaller candles with larger rejections, like we see here, that's when we start to get this downtrend. At the moment, we're still getting fairly good sized candles. So, and we've broken that pivot. So we're still in an uptrend. So it hasn't sort of cooled off yet. And we've still got steady volume coming into the market. So a really, really good sign. DXY. Now this is last week. I didn't even have to change this. So it's come up, it's tested the 100 MA. It's had a really strong rejection. So I would think it's got another couple of tests in this region before it does break out. So at this point, this acts as a seesaw. So when USDT and the DXY are sort of going up, then crypto is going to be going down because they're paired against each other. So when this is going down, crypto is going up. So it very much so correlates. So it's a chart to keep in your back pocket and just keep an eye on. Now jumping straight through to ETH, we are above all the pivots. We didn't want to retest. ETH has been super strong, obviously, because all the treasuries are like snapping it up. So there's a post on X that says, how are the treasuries going to cause the bubble in this market? Just watch for the treasuries that start to leverage and margin trade and start to get really super greedy. When that starts happening, it will. I've been in this market long enough to know. Just be super careful. That's when you want to start taking some profits, moving stop losses up, because if that starts happening and we start getting that excessive greed in the market, that's when everything's going to collapse. So just be super careful with that. So a little bit of sideways for this one at the moment, and then we should take off again. We're kind of leveling out on the RSI, still not like, we've still got plenty of room to move. We do look like we might get just a little bit of a kick down with the stock RSI, but MACD is looking super good. MACD is a lagging indicator though, so it can normally, like this is a daily chart, so it may take a day to sort of kick in, but it's still looking good. The Ethereum BTC pair, now it's got a little bit of room to go before it hits the next pivot. So minor correction. Now this is an internal fourth wave correction. So this is our first wave here, second, third, fourth can come down as low as 323. So if you're wanting to get into the ETH BTC pair, there's a little bit of room to move there. It usually like has a dip and then continues up. So looking really, really, really good. So I am just going to play a quick video for getting started in crypto and get a drink so that I can get through all the alts that I've got, because I'm starting to lose my voice, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, welcome back. So if you're not signed up with Getting Us Started in Crypto, make sure you do. We've got daily Bitcoin and Ethereum updates at the moment and heaps of signals hitting targets. So it's been epic. So let's get back into these charts because I've got a heap of alt requests through Getting Started in Crypto and through X. I've got some coming in on the comments, so a lot of those are already in my list. So first one up, we've got Zen. Now, what I would say, this is a 4-hour chart for Zen. It's kind of fighting with the twisting and turning with the 100 and 200. So that's normally a consolidation phase when we see that sort of twisting. It's essentially what we're getting at the moment. We're seeing the same sort of pattern twisting on the MACD. So this is in strong consolidation. Now we want to see a break above 9.18 and then a retrace in that region. That will give us an inverse head and shoulders here. So we'll go left shoulder, our head. One there, and then a shoulder, and then we will get up just above the pivot with this pattern. So we want to break that pattern at 10.93, and that would be super bullish. So that's potentially, it may not drop that far. So ignore that shoulder. It'll probably just go to about the 100. So 100 MA here is 8.19. That's essentially what we're looking at for Zen. Now I'm going to speed through these if I can. CVX. Now this also has this inverse head and shoulders at the moment. So it has confirmed. It just needs to actually take off, which it's been a bit slow. So as soon as this can break, it hasn't yet broken the shoulder yet, or the head, or the neck, I should say. Once it breaks that region, it will be off. So again, that breaks a pivot and that puts it into a bullish pattern. So we just need a break above 4.8 for CVX, and that's a really bullish pattern again for this one. So we're kind of in that region where we're just sort of sitting just below these pivots where we're about to cross really bullish into the market. For Fartcoin, I can't believe that I'm like actually charting this. Anyway, you guys love to trade it. I think we've got a bit of consolidation to come. It doesn't look like it's breaking through this region. Can touch up to 3 or 4 times before it does break through. So I think it's just going to have a bit of consolidation in this region before heading up to retest the channel resistance. So support here is around 89 for Fartcoin. Link. Now this was one I put the other day, and they had some news and it's potential treasury stuff happening for Link. Now it's broken through. So this was my pattern that I thought it was going to go into. Link's decided, no, I'm going to be super bullish and I'm just going up from here. We have a really nice, if that wants to come off, we have a really nice W pattern has happened here. So that's another really nice pattern. When we're looking at that, we kind of just put our directional, that's our resistance. So down here is our measurement for our W, and we have until 25. So a little bit more to go. So what it's potentially going to look like now, because we've broken out above this resistance, we could form some sort of triangle in this region before heading up. So that's a potential. We do normally get some sort of triangle. That's a really bad line, but you get the picture, like a triangle happening and then the breakout. So we're going into a period of consolidation with the BTC dominance sort of rising. So just be aware of that. Alts will go up and down. I don't think they're actually going to get completely wrecked. I think it's going to be that seesaw effect. So just watch that, but I will update if anything changes. Now, TIA, this has been a really, really slow moving coin. And at the moment, this is a 12-hour chart. When we drop it back to the 6-hour chart, it's actually looking quite nice. So we can see that we've just got a cross on the 6-hour chart. So that's nice. So as soon as we get a 12-hour cross, this is going to get quite bullish because we've had this breakout. We're over the resistance. We just need to get through these MAs. Once that happens, the next pivot is 5.89. So that essentially is our, doesn't want to add on, doesn't go up to A, B, C, could be like something like that, but still that's the bearish pattern. Bullish pattern obviously breaks out above this region, but that's the potential pattern that we could see for TIA. Like I was saying, there's always two regions that we're looking at. So, you know, we could be looking at, I haven't measured this, so, but I do know that we've got potential to get up to these regions. So that's about 1322 for TIA if we do get that breakout. So super slow, needs more volume, but once we get past these MAs, I think that's going to happen. SEI say, now this has had some nice movement. So we've got a WXY pattern already on this corrective pattern. So the alternate to this being bullish, so this is a leading diagonal, so that's a nice pattern. So that's that crossover pattern that I was talking about earlier, where the fourth and the first wave can cross, and we've seen that across the board with a lot of these alt breakouts. Say is another one. So all it needs to do is just hold, I don't know why my mouse wants to be stupid today, needs to hold this region. So any retrace needs to hold 2188. It looks like it'll likely hold higher and then continue up. The alternate for this pattern, if we do get a more bearish pattern, I don't think we are, by the way, but I'm just giving you guys alternates, is WXY, and we can get another X and then a Z wave. So that's a potential if we go into an extended correction. Don't think that's happening, but stranger things have happened. So just be aware of that. SWI, SUI, now this is in kind of a like a triangle mini channel sort of thing. Flat tops break up, flat bottoms break down. So that's a really good sign. I'd say we're coming up to test. We're going to break that 4.29 pivot and then continue up to 5 for SWI. So a little bit of consolidation again in this region, just while BTC has its little bit of limelight. Telcoin has, this is a chart that I put up on Twitter the other day, has broken the pivot here. This is bullish. Now this is potentially our fourth wave, came back down. So this is our first wave. Fourth wave didn't break that pivot, so that's a really strong sign. So next stop for Telcoin is probably around 0096. So just keep an eye on that, but it's looking like it's getting more and more bullish. It's going to have a little bit of consolidation in this region. This is a 4-hour. When we take it up to the daily, it still has lots and lots and lots of room on the indicators, and the MACD has just crossed. So super strong bullish divergent on the RSI. So this is looking really good. I think Telcoin's going to be taking off fairly soon. XDC, so in a flag, which is a nice pattern, so potentially can come back down and retest those 100 and 200 MA, just to, sometimes I just like to check that. Now they're sitting at about 749, so 75. it is quite low on the daily on the stock and bullish divergence. Now, something to look for when we're looking at the MACD and we're looking at that, sort of moving from bearish to bullish, on the histogram, it'll start turning different color. So this has gone from orange to like a lighter orange, and then it should flip to a light green to a darker green. So when we sort of start to see that flip, that's when we know we're getting that momentum change. So that's happening at the moment. So it may be, a little bit slower as we do fill out this sort of, consolidation and this correction with BTC, but still we're looking really good. So this is the opportunity to buy the dip on a lot of these coins. So looking quite nice. Next one we've got is VET, and pivot, overhead pivot is 2633. Now to me, VET looks like it's looking really good. It's got, once we get some more volume coming in, that's the only thing with a lot of these older coins, although we saw Litecoin really take off this week. So that could be something that happens for the dinosaur coins. When I talk dinosaur coins, I'm talking, 2017, 2018 coins. When we're looking at BCH, Litecoin, VET, XRP is a dinosaur coin. Sorry, guys, but it is. So that's kind of our coins that we're looking at, and there's a rotation for those. When we go from Ethereum, we go to our top 100, we go then into the stupid coins like the meme coins, fart coin, whatever, those sort of things. So just know the rotation and how they're sort of moving. And then I will do one more, Solana, because my voice is going to be non-existent in a minute. If it wants to load for me. Matthew, if you want to re-watch the this will be played again in Getting Started in Crypto or on YouTube, or you can watch the replay on X. But Chainlink I did a little bit earlier, so that is there. Now Solana didn't want to retest. It's broken. So Solana's pivot is all the way up at this region, so it's above the pivot. So this is now a bullish pattern. So 1.76. Now any retrace needs to hold the wave one high. So the wave one high was at 1.72. So without doing fibs, so don't yell at me, we're potentially looking at something like this with a pullback. We should break this high on this next wave up. So if I put some fibs on and we have a look at where we're sitting in the pattern, if it wants to go there. There we go. So our wave 3 can usually goes into the golden zone 618 to the 65, and our wave 5 may go as high as 1.236. So it's sitting at around 250 for Solana. So that's a nice move coming up. So we might see a lot more volume come in. There's a lot more talk about Solana and ETFs for one, and treasuries adding Solana. So that could be a good thing for this pattern as well. So yeah, another one was, and this is the very, very last one, OKB, because this is sponsored by OKX, and OKB. Hopefully I clicked the right one then. No, wait 2 seconds. Let's go back. Okay, so OKB is a signal within getting started in crypto at the moment. It's not going to open with all the lines. It's taking super long time. There we go. So likely one more like pullback into this buy zone, and then it should take off. So this is a 6-hour chart. I'm going to take this up to the daily because it's looking really nice on the daily. Lots of room to move, and likely an 87% move from this region down here. So one more minor pullback and then a continuation up, but looking really good for OKB. And there we go. That was the weekly wrap up. I've still got a voice, luckily, just. So hopefully I'm fully back and recovered and all of that. But I've been working heaps more, as you can see with Twitter and everything. So if you do have requests and you're in getting started in crypto, please jump into the chat. They are always welcome, and we do our best to get all of those to you. And if you're on Twitter or YouTube or wherever you are, come and drop past and say hello and make sure you like everything, because that way I can get out to more people and help them with understanding crypto. So, and that's my main goal. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the stream next week, and I'll catch you everywhere on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and of course, getting started in crypto. Thanks, guys.